Hello, garden friends. It is Thursday, June 1st, just about 8 a.m. here in Zone 6A, Central Massachusetts, right on the Connecticut line. I wanted to do another video because it's time. It's been a while since the last one, and things have started to get growing. So I wanted to document it. It seems to me that this is a slower year than last year. I think we were a little farther ahead than we are at this point, but that's okay. It's going good so far. I've definitely made some improvements from last year and have lots of improvements to go, but such as it is. We're filming from a kind of different angle this time because of the lighting. It's like I said, it's just about 8 o'clock. I'm just finishing up the chores for the day here because it's supposed to be a hot one today and tomorrow. And then we're looking at lots of rain and a cool down. So I have many transplants that need to get in the ground. I am certainly not going to do it today or tomorrow. And so Saturday I may be transplanting in the wet, but that's okay. All right, so let's get going and show you what we have here. These are our cool season flowers that are, look at, they're coming along. This is agrostema. The snaps, you guys, are just slow. They have been in the ground since late March. The good thing about getting them in the ground during cool weather is that they naturally branch themselves, and so I don't have to worry about pinching them. In this row, we have a couple successions of sunflowers. The netting is on to protect from the deer, but as you can see, it's going to be time to take the netting off pretty soon. So I am anticipating sunflowers in about 3 weeks. It seems no matter what I do, no matter how early I plant or how late I plant or how thickly I cover them, the 3rd week in June is when we get sunflowers. More cool flowers here. We had a late frost, and that's why I have the covers out. At some point when they dry off, I will take them back inside, but it's not going to be anytime soon. So we have lots of status. The baby's breath. Look at that. So, lesson learned, I can plant baby's breath a little later next year because it's too early. I don't need it yet. This is another row of perennials we've got going. So we've got echinacea in here. I will be planting more rudbeckia. Look at the things you find. I don't know what did this. I'm not too happy about it. My liatris. You will see lots of weeds. I haven't had a lot of time to weed yet, but I will. These irises need to go to make room for cut flowers. The artemisia is doing really well. It always does well, and I use a great deal of it in bouquets. So it will spread. This started out as like a single little bunch that I got at a swap, but that's okay. I can control it because I harvest it so often. I wouldn't recommend it if you don't want to implement some drastic control measures. This row right here is actually 2 rows of dahlias, and they are starting to pop up. They're looking really good. I need to get the drip irrigation going, but for now I'm hand watering. I've got some glads popping up from last year. And then the next row is all tomatoes. Just for the simple fact that I do not have room for them in my vegetable garden. So they come here in the flower garden. They will get staked, and the stakes actually provide great perching places for birds, and the birds eat a lot of desirable insects. So I do think it's a good, a beneficial relationship for both of us. So this year in this garden, I think I counted 26 tomatoes, which is a record low. But I did one of each variety that I knew I wanted, and so we're gonna hope that each of those one varieties does well. I already have one over in the other row that I think a deer nibbled, so thankfully I have a replacement for it. You can see the Orlea that reseeded itself last winter is blooming again. Pretty useless to me right now because I don't have anything to pair it with. So lesson learned on that. I don't have to overwinter Orlea. I can just seed it in the spring and let it do its thing. I have some Bupleurum that reseeded itself, and this is Nigella that reseeded itself, and I am letting that go. I had a really hard time starting it from seed inside. Last year, I had, I don't know, one or two plants that made it. And so I didn't harvest from them. I just let them go to seed. And now I have Nigella, and I probably will always have Nigella. And for that, I'm thankful. You can see it gets some pretty neat looking pods. I just need it to grow a little taller so that it can be bouquet size. More dahlias here. These have not broken through the surface yet because I planted them later. Fun fact, I learned that one of the premier dahlia growers in Massachusetts plants dahlias all the way up until July 4th. So I felt no rush to get my dahlias in this year. I learned last year if you pre-sprout them and you rush the process along, the dahlias bloom just in time for the Japanese beetles. So, not going to do that again. All right, we have more cool seasons in here that are just starting along. We have second row of tomatoes. Again, they will be staked. And then here, right here, these are the dahlias that overwintered in the ground. Now, I would have had a much better success rate, except there was a vole problem. I removed the tarp and removed the leaves and could definitely see their trails throughout the bed. So that was a little disappointing, but this was very encouraging. So I think what I'm going to do next year is dig up the tubers that I would be heartbroken to lose and safely store them inside. And then I will store the rest in the ground and see what happens, because it was so much easier not having to dig everything. All right, we've got first succession of zinnias. I've got more that need to go into the ground. This is not nearly enough, but it was the first tray that I had, and they are looking good. There was only one or two that I lost to transplant shock. Last year, the zinnias were a complete fail. I transplanted icky looking seedlings, and I should have just started over. So, lesson learned. And this year, we are going to have lots of beautiful zinnias. All right. This is kind of perennials. Daffodils are gone by. The purple sensation alliums are getting dug up and removed. Again, I planted them because an expert flower farmer said you should plant them. So I did, not realizing that they bloom when nothing else is blooming. So these are going to get dug up and put into the landscape, and then this space will give me room for more sunflowers, which I'm going to need a ton of. I have more Nigella that reseeded itself amongst the daffodils, so that's exciting. That's going to get to stay. The liatris is coming. The mountain mint is coming. The baptisia here. This is, I forget if it's I think it's might be the third year. It is not looking nearly as great as the baptisia that I have in the landscape at home, but I think these are native. They're not hybrids, is what I'm trying to say. They're definitely not proven winners. I do have one proven winner plant, and it is absolutely amazing. The Ansonia blooming. It's been blooming. Again, not much to go with it. And so these plants are going to be moved into the landscape as well to give me some more growing space in actual beds. I skipped over one of these rows where I have my glads started. I wanted to see if they were popping through. Let's go see where they are. Right here. There are glads in here that are not popping through yet, but they will eventually. Feverfew is coming. Oh no, I lied. This is not where the glads are. I've got one succession in here. Oh look, we have one popping up. There's a glad. There's two. Okay, so glads through here. This is Gilia that reseeded last year. I've got another succession of glads in here that were planted 2 weeks later up to the rock. And then I have room for a third succession that I will probably plant next week. I thoroughly expect that with all of the rain that we are anticipating, these will start popping through. I really hope the rain doesn't miss us. We need it. I've been checking the drought monitors, and we are not listed in any kind of drought, but it has been dry. And so I think as soon as the rain comes, this garden is going to explode, and I'm not going to know what to do with myself. I've been doing the Charlton Farmers Market on Wednesdays. It's been a lot of fun talking to people about tomatoes. No more tomato seedlings, though. The last leftover box is getting dropped off at the Boys and Girls Club today. And so we are moving on from tomato seedlings and moving straight on into the flowers. And as you can see, we have little blossoms on the sunflowers. So 2 or 3 more weeks and we'll have sunflowers and hopefully things to go with them. All right, that's it. That's the update. Stay cool, everyone. I'm going to head in before it gets warm. Talk to you later and happy growing.